It's Feisty Friday again. I am home sitting at my temporary desk while I start to think about packing up my life again to move to the next place. I've moved a lot in my life. In fact, since I've technically been an adult, I've moved 37 times, or this will be my 37th time. I guess, to be honest with you, maybe I'm not a professional just in project management. Maybe I'm a professional mover. Maybe the fact that I've moved that much is either a sign that I am a PM or that I am a PM is a sign that I like to move. I don't know which is which, but I know moving is an incredibly stressful, potentially, part of most human experience. And I've done it a lot. And to be honest with you, am I tired of moving? Of course I'm tired because moving is exhausting. But if there's anything I've learned in 37 moves, it is that the stuff doesn't really matter. That the stuff itself can create stress regardless of what it is and how long you've owned it and whether or not it's going to be well suited to the next place or not. Um, Overarchingly, I have learned that the stuff is just simply that, it's stuff. The energy, the space, the people that move with you. This is the stuff that, or these are the things that make all the difference. Energetically, a move is exhausting and stressful. But what can make it more exhausting and stressful is the mentality or the countenance that you hold going into it. And if I were going to coach you through a move, I would think about how to ask you questions that would inspire you to think about your future self. Because as a coach, it really is about being a question asker, a strategic question asker. And a coach's motivation in coaching someone is to really encourage that individual or that group of people to think about their future state, how they imagine it, how they envision it, and then what the individual or the group feels it needs to do in order to get to that future state. A coach builds onto the future. But as many of you know, my role right now with PMI is to be a mentor. And last week, when I was sitting down to write my newsletter, I was thinking about the fact that so often mentoring and coaching get kind of looped together. People say, oh, yeah, they're just kind of the same thing. And I understand that. I understand the confusion, but I can tell you that if I was going to mentor you to move, I would be focusing on your past experience, your past moves, your past change experiences that gave you resilience, that allowed you to feel like, oh, right, I used to live there and then I moved there. And because I know what that looked like, I can now begin to think about how to do this next move. A mentor really focuses on the past. They look at the past, they encourage you to understand where you've come from. And then a mentor really pushes those past experiences into a place where you can grow from. Mentoring always asks the question, or maybe doesn't even ask the question. It just makes the statement, this is what's worked for me. Let me show you what I understand to have worked for me. That's what I would do as a mentor of someone moving. I would say, I've moved 37 times. And because I'm still here, let me tell you what I've learned. So that's what a mentor would do. But a coach would think about, well, into the future, where you will be in this new place. What do you think is going to work for you there that's going to make the toil of getting ready to make the move all the more worth it? That's what a coach would do. So for me, coaching is actually about asking questions so that they uncover the individual or the other person's answers. And a mentor is just about sharing your wisdom and your experience. So, like I said, when I sat down to write my newsletter last week, I was kind of perseverating on this coaching mentoring thing. And this week, as I am reflecting on the week that has been, and of course, last week I came to you from a hotel room, which doesn't technically count as a move. So when I say I've moved 37 times, I don't mean that I've been in 37 different hotel rooms. I can't even count the amount of hotel rooms that I have been in my lifetime, because my travel and my career and my life has taken me all over the world. And yes, 37 actual moves is what I'm talking about. But when I think about giving wisdom or sharing wisdom and mentoring people in how to pack up your life and move it again, it is in the resilience that I've experienced. Um, Oddly enough, it's also what makes this move, although feel stressful, it also makes it feel exciting, exhilarating, because I've done it so many times. And the first two, three, four, 10, 20 times, there was a lot more uncertainty. It's a funny thing about uncertainty is uncertainty can abound, but your resilience towards the uncertainty changes based on your experience. And I've had a lot of experience moving. What does moving 37 times in my adult life say about me? I mean, I think many of you know that I'm a change maker and I love change. So I do think the fact that I've moved that many times has meant I'm not afraid of change. And actually, probably I choose change more than I choose staying the same. Does it mean that I'm flighty? Does it mean that I haven't had certainty? Does it mean what are the negatives that it means? I've thought of all the negatives. In fact, laying in bed awake at night, I often am focused on the negatives of what it means about me that I have moved that many times. Um, I don't know what it's like to stay in one place for a really long time. I've lived in the same city for 20 years, but I don't know what it's like to live in the same place in that city for 20 years. And I don't know what that says about me. I think if it says anything, it is that perhaps my insatiable curiosity for change comes from a desire to never settle, you know, just to continue to be curious about what's next and to be open to learning new things. It is that quest for wisdom, perhaps, that has me moving and changing. And also, I don't have FOMO. A lot of people think maybe it's the fear of missing out. And so that's why I want to move all the time. That's actually not it. I think it's the fear of staying in the same place for so long that I become complacent, that I expect or believe I deserve something, that routine becomes something that makes me lazy. I'm not suggesting that that's what your experience is. I'm just saying, I think for me, there's something in my personality that is attracted to making change so that I can always be rethinking, reorganizing, growing, changing, adjusting. And probably that also attributes to my feistiness because it's feisty to move that many times. And it's feisty for me to presume that I can coach you in any sort of big shift in your own life. But I will tell you, the mentor in me, from having moved so much, knows that there is great wisdom in the journey. And so that's what I'm thinking about today in my Feisty Friday. I'm also thinking about where I want to go next because, in the midst of this transition and all of these changes for me in my own kind of personal, professional life, I also recognize that I want to lay down tracks. I do want to be very confident on where I stand and what I say and what I do. I own the term feisty. It is mine. That doesn't mean that you can't share it with me, but I'm proud of it. Um, for those that want to push back and say maybe the term is misleading or isn't positive, I completely disagree. For me, it is a term that best articulates what I want to consistently show up in my life and do. I want to be feisty. I want the feedback of how it makes you feel to hear me say that. And at the same time, I know that the feedback shared will be an opportunity for me to learn and change and grow. So it's feisty to move 37 times, and I am going to do it. And in the coming weeks, I'm also going to get really laser focused in my Feisty Fridays about what I care about, what I stand for. And I want to share with you why I'm here today, toward the end now, fourth quarter 2025, thinking about what it means to be feisty, to be a leader, and where I think this next move is going to take me.